All right, so with this steel here on the interior, it's not just gonna be one full sheet. We've got this 2x6 going around the perimeter, and that's gonna be where this steel stops. We're gonna have a solid liner panel at the bottom 8 foot, and then we're gonna go to a perforated liner, which is for sound deadening properties. Works pretty well, and I guess it gives the wall a little bit different texture, but we do have to take consideration of those holes when we put that up, because you'll see right through it and you'll see what we do to combat that. But I'm gonna go ahead and get this steel pile marked, and they should be 32-inch centers, 32, 64, and that way we can run this wall. We're just gonna go ahead and try to run all the lower 8-foot steel on this whole building before we go to the upper. 1.25 inches, 32, 64. So now that I've got a couple sheets up, they're plumbed up, they're right where we want them, I'm actually gonna use that top edge and also mark out the top of the steel. That way when we lay them on our bottom marks, our top marks, it can stay consistently plumb without having to ever check with a level. It is a little bit extra work. It's gonna take a couple minutes for me to do that, but it saves me time when I install the 25 other sheets that it requires on the bottom. All right, now that I got that top marked out, it should be pretty darn easy because I'm just lining up this siphon rib on that mark, top and bottom, and it should stay exactly where we want it. So you see I hit my bottom mark. Top mark. And then make sure my lap is good. And it's on to the next one. I'll come back and screw all that off later because it's more efficient to have a whole handful of screws and just go right down the line. You know, one thing that's really crucial for this is having a very level base trim. So Greg shot this all on yesterday using the rotary laser based off of our door entrances, which is where our grade finished floor is. And that way the bottom of this trim is the same, you know, as accurate as that Stabilo laser is all the way around the perimeter of this building. A little bit of prep work. The concrete guys got a form snap line going around this whole building because they'll pour right to that base trim. And the comments will start, Greg, but why don't you have concrete in right now? Why would you wait? Concrete should have been done first. Well, look at that. Made it to the middle of the building. So this is half the steel, and I've still got a visible punch row right where I need it. So that's, I guess, gives you a good indicator. That's a 40-foot section of wall that we were able to punch, and you can still use those punches. So people always say, but how many sheets can you get through when you punch? And I guess I would answer however many that was. I don't know, 40 feet worth. 14 pieces. So that's all I'll do for right now. We'll just leave those screws missing, come back through, and like I said, do it kind of more efficiently all at once. The goal right now is just to get all the metal up, get it off the ground. Now we're gonna go ahead and start down the big wall with the windows. I would probably go 3/8. man, we had a killer morning. As you can see behind me, we've got from this door all the way around to that far back corner. We got the entire lower 8-foot steel installed, and we're gonna keep going around. We're gonna go ahead and start in that side of the door way back there, and we're gonna work around to the front corner of this door. Now, yeah, I think once we get done with that run of steel, we're gonna really be able to move quick because we'll have to just cut the tops of the steel in the gables because we've got this raised bottom cord. But what we've been doing today, which I don't know why, Greg, we've had this thing for a couple years and we've never actually brought it to site and used it in a capacity of like making our job easier. It's usually because we've had to bring it to site and fix a mistake that I made when ordering the steel too long. But this Swenson shear, we figured probably saved us on each one of these windows 3 minutes of install time. And you may think, well, that's a big deal. 5 windows, 15 minutes, does that really matter? I think it does. It definitely made things move a lot quicker, a lot easier. And when we go to do these sheets on the end wall, we'll be able to just take the Swenson shear and cut the angle. I'll show you that in action. It's pretty crazy, a little bit scary if you're too close with your hands, but it works really well. So we're gonna go ahead and get started on this other side of steel.
Yeah, let's go 45 and 3/8. And then
80 and 7/8.
Is that your cut measurement? Nah, like 80 and, no, we can go 80 and 7/8 cut.
Okay. Finger check?
Yep. I'm only slightly disappointed in you.
From the last time.
Okay.
Finger check?
Nice.
Hey, so we got all the interior lower panel on right now. We are going around and we're installing this D2 trim is what we call it. It's a double angle trim and really it's just a Z. You can see it's got a hem underneath it and I snipped this hem off. And let me show you why. Because anytime you're doing trims, especially when they have hems, you do not want them to be doubled up on each other because it's more visible. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna use the hem that's on this side, and it's gonna be hard to see, but trust me, it's open, and I'm gonna go ahead and slide it right over top of this other piece that I just, put that cut on. That also locks it in, but it makes it a nice seamless one piece. So this is here to transition to our perforated steel that's gonna go up from this point, and that's all for sound control. Like using the 18 gauge stapler. As long as you go in straight, and what I mean by that is don't try to shoot it on an angle. Make sure that you're always going straight. That's what happens if you don't go straight, okay? So if you actually take the time and go straight, it'll go through usually no problem. So you may be wondering what the black plastic behind me is for. That's not the wall finish. That's actually just there because we're installing perforated metal up above that 8-foot solid metal, and that's for sound control. So this building is an 80 by 120. You get in here with a concrete floor, it's gonna have echo. There's nothing you can do about it, but what you can do is reduce it, and it reduces it greatly by running perforated liner panel. It's got a bunch of holes that get punched through it down at the factory, and then they roll form it just like the other steel that we use, so it's the exact same match. It's more money, probably about $1 a linear foot. I don't know why it's so much money. It's less material, but it's more time, I guess, to make. So we got that black plastic up. We've got the Swenson shear here. That's gonna hopefully make this a lot quicker because every one of these cuts, every one of these sheets has to be cut up the gable at a 1/12 pitch. So that's what we're gonna get going on.
You are quick, aren't you?
Dude, so much faster than nibbling.
Wait, why did you hand it to me this way?
Because you're going to go up and over like that.
If I have to, I will.
Bro, that's the easiest way.
It's not what I wanted to do, but...
What, you want to spin it?
Oh, no, I just...
Here, dude.
A little higher. Use your calves.
Oh, dude, you almost got it.
If I reach for it and slip my finger, I'm coming off the lift.
Man, if one of my calves were bigger, I could have handed it to you a lot easier.
100%, dude. That's what I was thinking. You're doing a really good job, man. Small calves and all. Calf king. King cutter. Calf king cut connoisseur. Greg, do you think you'll ever have big legs, or is that just kind of like out of the question at this point? Man, guys, we're just plugging away in here. It's already the afternoon. We've still got quite a bit of work to do if we think we want to get all this steel up today. It might not happen. That's okay. Tomorrow's Friday. Right behind me, you'll notice the small garage door that connects the two buildings. And what we did there is you'll see all that flat stock material. That's because the door has to go up all the way to the ceiling before it turns. So it can't, like a normal door, it's just going to do a radius, usually, 13 to 15 inch radius. This actually has a high lift track, so it's going all the way up to the ceiling before it turns and comes out. It's barely even going to make much of a turn, maybe 1 to 2 panels into the ceiling. And that will have a jack shaft operator, which means the operator that controls the up and down will be right at the shaft up on the springs. So what we had to do there was basically run coil flat stock. We'll trim out each side, and then that's what our steel will run into. We've actually already got the bottom here. And I just got the top plastic. I've got to make that quick rip. And then you'll see over here what we've got going on. It's just the flat stock. And I'll use the 300 Stabila line laser just to go ahead and give myself a perfect plumb line all the way up. And then we will take off. And this is what we've got yet to complete. That steel, and then that little section over there. Otherwise, we got all the steel up so far. Okay, so this is the piece I'm going to put in the box. This box is here so that the drum at the top of the door here that spools up the cable that pulls the door up, it mounts like right here. We were going to be into our ceiling an inch or two, so I just went ahead. I made this 2x6 depth box so that the drum will be plenty accessible for the door guys. And I'm going to try, and I just realized why this is going to be extremely tough. And it is because of those cuts right there. I need to cut these out. This is one of those things that I'm spending probably way more time than I need to on, but I think it'll be cool. So what I needed to do is I needed to be able to flex this in enough to get it in here. Okay, and then once I get that up there, I should be able to tuck it like so. Oh, buddy. Let's go. Let's go, Greg. Dang. That actually worked very well. Now I need a piece of flat stock there, and then I can wrap this all up, trim it out, and it's gonna look pretty good. So I'm working on the attic access panel. So right here in the back of the building, up by the peak, we couldn't go exactly in the center just because there's some framing there, and then you've got a peak coming together with a flat surface. It just doesn't make much sense. So this is where the insulators will get up into this attic space, and this whole building will get blown in R38. So I'm just gonna trim this opening out so I can put my access panel up in here.
right, attic access panel done. Now we got a lot of screws to install, and that'll be just about it on this job. You guys, 39 days of work it took Greg and I to do this job. But in reality, it's not 39 full days. Probably that first, I don't know, maybe I would say 20 days. We might have worked 1 out of 2 of those days. Otherwise, it was weather issues, wind, you know, something was keeping us off the job site. But in total, we were here on 39. Today is the 39th occasion of being at this job site. It's an 80 by 120 workshop. As you can see behind me, man, this thing is fully finished. We've got concrete will be coming in later. We don't do that. Okay, we just let the contractor or the customer or the GC, whoever is handling any of the subcontractors like electrical, concrete, maybe plumbing work. We don't do that. So we do have an insulator coming in later. They're gonna blow R38 into the ceiling, so don't fret, that will get insulation. And this is gonna be a great workshop. Rainer Garage Door is gonna be putting on a 36 by 18 foot tall, 3-inch thick door. I mean, it's a massive door on this end and a 30 foot by 16 foot on the other end. And then we've got that little connection door to his old building that maybe someday we'll come back and we'll get the opportunity to reskin it to match this building. That's in the plans, but we'll see what happens. You never know. I'm hoping that you guys enjoyed this little video series on this massive building. Definitely a lot of work for 2 guys, but hey, Greg and I think we did just fine. We took our time. You know, it is what it is. You can't ever be in too big of a rush. You just got to do whatever it takes to get the job done. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you learned something. Maybe it, you know, gave you guys a little bit of, I don't know, information or motivation to do a project on your own. And you guys want to stick around for more because we've got some great projects coming. Man, a pretty sick barn dominium that I hope you guys stick around for. So hit that subscribe button. If you enjoyed the videos, hit the thumbs up. I appreciate it. And that's the only way Greg gets paid anymore is through YouTube sponsored content, guys. So I got to get this stuff going, otherwise Greg ain't gonna stick around long. All right, we'll catch you guys later. Don't worry, Greg gets paid every other week sometimes. Sometimes 4 weeks. It all depends on when he remembers to bring the book back to the job site so I can pay him.